Welcome to the Greyhound Star. We have an interesting story breaking today concerning some major sponsorship. In fact, at least a treble leg, if not more, depending on whether you're aware of something that's previously been announced. And the company behind it is Gain Greyhound Nutrition, and the spokesman Sean Traynor is with me today. Welcome, Sean. In the first instance, we need to be talking about confirmation of the dates for the 3 steps, do we not?
Yeah, the three steps to victory at Sheffield. £10,000 to the winner, as it was last year. It's been a tough time this year. COVID. Last year we went through it with COVID, and we've made a decision. We'll stick with Sheffield. We had a great relationship with Dave Perry, and so the first round over 480 metres will be on the 28th of August.
Yeah.
Live on Sky Sports Racing. Second round over 500 metres on the 4th of September, with the grand finale over 660 metres on the 11th of September.
Okay, are they Tuesdays? I haven't.
Saturdays, yeah, three consecutive Saturdays.
Excellent. So that's £10,000 to the winner for that category 1, and then
Yeah.
I gather there are 2 new competitions that hadn't previously been announced coming up at Toaster. The first one being on Derby final night.
Yeah, there is. I'll just like to say I'm glad to be back at Toaster. I was at Toaster previously when we did the Trainers Championship. We did a little bit of sponsorship there. Things have moved on. They've gone under. They've come back. They've fought hard. Kevin Booth is fighting hard to do things, and of course they've got an asset now there with Nathan Gordon in the racing in the office as a PR man or whatever he is. He could only be good for the business. Known Nathan quite a while. Knew him from when I had dogs at Derby Dogs myself. And his family run the track there, and obviously where his history was at Nottingham. But I also know Nathan on a personal thing when he worked for Arena Leisure and on horse racing. Nothing was ever too much trouble. If I wanted to take a busload of my clients or customers or friends to a race meeting at Southall, there was never any question about entrance fees or whatever. It was like, come in, lads, enjoy your day and have a pint with us, which is what we did. So he contacted me to see if we couldn't do something. I wanted to try and get hold of the Derby plate, but I think Racing Post TV have decided they want to keep hold of the plate. Mm-hmm. So what we come up with was 2 new competitions. The first will be over 712 metres, 18 greyhounds, 5,000 to the winner. First round, 26th of June. Second round, 3rd of July. Final round, 10th of July, Derby final night.
Yeah.
And it's called the Gain Greyhound Nutrition Challenge Cup over 712 metres. Yeah. So we're delighted to be involved with that. And then later on in the year, with the Gain Greyhound Nutrition Sovereign Stakes, a sprint competition, something that we've not really done before. And I think the only sprint we ever did was around in Mullingar, to be honest with you, which isn't really a sprint at 400 yards. But again, first round, the 9th of November, second round, 16th of November, third and final round on the 23rd of November. That's the 36 greyhounds for another £5,000 to the winner. So I believe I think they fall into Cat 1. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check that. Maybe Cat 2. Maybe you can check that forward and we can edit that back out. And then obviously, I don't know whether you want to touch on it or I touch on it. The £10,000 bonus offer for what we got involved with Greyhound Trader Sales. Another thing with an innovative thing with Nathan Gordon again. He's trying to do a Derby sale. Basically, what we've said is that we would underwrite the cost of the £10,000 given to a vendor and a buyer. Should the greyhound sold at the sales go on to win the Derby, the St Ledger, or even the English Oaks? Now, I'm not sure, it needs to be clarified with Nathan, whether we're covered for all 3. Should some miracle happen and all 3 sold out of the sales win them 3 races, that would be some feather in the cap for somebody. But it's there, it's an offer, it's £5,000 either way. So it gives an incentive for the Irish lads to send over the decent dogs. If they're going to get 10, 15,000 from, why can't they go to Toaster Greyhound at the first sale at Toaster? And should it go on to win the Derby, another £5,000 in the pocket. And also the man that puts his hand in the pocket we'll see £5,000 should he win the Derby as well. Also, so it's a win-win. It's a win-win for the vendor and the buyer. It's a win-win for the toaster, and it's a win-win for Game Ground Nutrition, I would say. And I think it's a lot to be. It took some thinking about, took some, getting to the end of it all. But yeah, I think it's good, and as long as it gets advertised out there, even in Ireland, I think the entries should reap, highly.
Definitely so. I mean, given Nathan's connections, I'd be very disappointed if some of the top breeders didn't produce.
I know himself personally that he's got some pups down there with Shane O'Gorman down in Port Law area. And I know he breeds a few himself. So I've tried that game myself. To be honest with that breeding, it's an expensive game. Yeah. But we keep trying. It's everybody's dream to win the Derby. I've been there with friends. I've been there when Lance Reed had Geltymore Lad in the final at Wimbledon many years ago. And I also had a close call, as you probably know, that it was me that found Slip the Lark for Keith Allsop. Yeah. And to get beat to Shorthead in the Irish Derby. So, I've been in this industry, ground industry, since I was 14 years of age, believe it or not, a schoolboy, and came on to work for Glanbia 16 years ago as their manager. So.
Yes, definitely so. Of course, it's Slip the Lark. Of course, is a sire of Droopy's Jet, isn't he? And if you think he also had Tully Murray Act, he's had a bit of a golden touch, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, one thing about Keith was, he put plenty of money into the industry, and very, very unlucky, and then unfortunate that Tully Murray Act at the time when he passed away through cancer was at the top of his game. And I remember speaking to Sean Dunphy many years ago, and I said, "What do you think to this lad?" And he said, "He's the next top honcho." Yeah, and that's high praise indeed from anybody whatsoever, just to say this is the next top honcho. And unfortunately, he sired quite a lot of litters, but probably not as many as we would have liked.
No, I mean, he was one of the original slow burner, wasn't he? Because there were so many good. I know he was in the Irish Derby final and he won other competitions, but because there were so many good top honcho dogs, he was probably, I don't know, 15th on the
he was down the pecking order.
But he actually did end up the best son of top honcho.
He did
by far.
He did by a long way. I think even if you go into his Grade 1 Cat 1 winners, and these, if you go into look into it, these thousands of winners, thousands of graders and the top class dogs.
Yes, of course.
Fantastic. Great loss to the sport, but we got to live on another day, haven't we?
Very much so. Just evidence again that breeding does that, doesn't it? It throws out these you just cannot guarantee. And thank God, because otherwise you'd end up like an Arab situation where you go, we'll just have all the top dogs and they'll be the top stud dogs. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you look at some breeding sometimes, and I speak to my counterpart in Ireland, Willie Rigney, quite a lot, and I've just purchased a bitch from him. I purchased 2 bitches from him. One's not really old enough to run yet, but I just bought All About Nona from him as a potential brood eventually. I mean, she won at Shelburne Park the other night in 28.65, and she doesn't really want 4 bends. She wants 6. So, I bought her with one eye on the 3 steps to victory.
I was going to say, or the Derby final night, I would have thought.
Yeah, Derby final. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not sure. I think 712 meters. What's that? 800 yards. I think that probably stretch her a little bit. 660 meters at Sheffield could be just up her street, starting into the bend. But then again, you've got to get through the 480 and 500 round. Should I get accepted? That is. I'm not saying that because I'm one of the people that's raised the sponsorship for it, that I should get accepted. She'll get accepted if she's good there on merit. If she makes it over, we've got to get her over yet. So that's the first thing.
Oh, I'd want to hear the call between you and Dave Perry if you didn't get in, to be honest.
I would never ever put that kind of pressure on him.
I still want to hear the phone call, though.
As you well know. I just got his number up now.
Before I let you go, you've obviously long been associated with the Trainers Championship,
Yeah,
formerly the GTA Trainers Championship, but now there is no GTA.
yeah.
There was talk of a Trainers Championship. What are your thoughts?
Um, Look, we did the Trainers Championship. We first started at Toaster um, with Dave Houghton and the GTA, and it's the total prize money isn't the money that we actually put in there. There is a lot of money actually comes in via what was the GTA and the local track. I don't want to bore you with breaking it down, but if it's 10 grand to the winning trainer, 6 to the second, and 1,000 to the also rans. It's a lot of money to put in. There's a lot of corporate hospitality. There's a lot of smoozing. It's probably a 50-50 thing. So the second year we did it at Sheffield, Dave Perry approached me due to the fact that Toaster had closed. There was talk of it going to Central Park, which was okay, and then they never came to fruition. Dave Perry rang me immediately when he heard it had fell through at Central Park, and offered me a package with 3 steps. And if you've ever been to the track, you'll see the track signs that we get is absolutely fantastic. Take my hat off to Sheffield, to be perfectly honest with you. They've been nothing but good for me. Never had a crossword with them. I have a few runners up there. I've had a few injuries up there. I've had a few dogs retire up there through injury. I've never ever rang him and say your track's a disgrace, blah blah blah. My dog got hurt, blah blah blah. I don't do them kind of things. I take it for what it is. And any real greyhound man will know what it is, that injuries do happen. They don't happen just on the track. They happen in the kennel. They can happen anywhere.
And of course, you've got one with Dave as well, haven't you? You're dealing with another greyhound man.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the Perrys, Carl, his brother, they've got long history in the game. But going back to the sponsorship, last year we didn't do it due to COVID. We got through with the 3 steps with, I think it was a limited amount of people through. It was very, very difficult, different atmosphere completely. Take my hat off to all tracks that kept going and keeping graded runners going, keeping open racing going, just keeping the industry going, keeping people in work more than anything else. So, like I say, we didn't do it last year. This year, I've been in discussions with Toaster. I've also had a discussion with Dave Perry at Sheffield, and it's on the back burner, and it's not. The money's there if we want it. I believe the money's there if we want it. It's the hierarchy in Ireland have said, it's there if we need to use it, but it needs to be used in a sensible way. I can't ask Dave Perry or Toaster to put the amount of money in that we're going to put in if they've got no paying public and they can't have their restaurants open.
No.
You've got to look at what's being spent behind the scenes as well as in the scenes.
And that's just for one night, isn't it? It's not like you've got
one night, yeah. It's like one night, 6 top trainers come. Who the top trainers are. If they've got dogs to run in the 8 races, then they get an invite into it. I mean, I would prefer. This is not under any circumstance anything to do with Toaster Chef. I would prefer Sheffield due to the fact that the top 6 trainers on the Trainers Championship would not have genuine normal runners at Sheffield. No. The top 6 in the Trainers Championship, probably 4 of them, Mark Wallace, Janssens, Kevin Hutton, Phil Simmons, possibly John Mullins, David Mullins, they would have regular runners around Toaster and would be at an unfair advantage. So I think a neutral venue that's capable of running it would be great. There's just one other small competition that we do, and I do every year, and it's for the graded man. It's not just for the open race man. Because I take graded racing seriously, and I think the graded man needs something special. So we have a set, what we have called the Game Greyhound Nutrition Christmas Cracker it's a set handicap for 36 greyhounds in December, and it's just 1,500 to the winner.
And that's where?
The dates to be decided in December, but it's something we run every year along Sheffield. It's for dogs that must have run at least 4 times on the track, so have a genuine mark on the card.
Yeah.
And it's a set handicap.
So, Sean, thank you very much for your time. It's great news. I'm sure it'll be very, very well received by the industry. And fingers crossed we'll see you at, well, in the first instance, Toaster.
Yeah, I hope so, Floyd. I hope so. We sit down and have a beer in a bit of warmth.
Definitely do. Definitely
All
do.
right, Floyd. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.